Welcome back to the History Recap. Today, we venture into the misty highlands of Scotland to unravel the story of a man who became a symbol of freedom and defiance, William Wallace. In the next 5 minutes, discover the real man behind the legend. The year is 1297. Scotland is in turmoil. The death of King Alexander III had left a power vacuum, and Edward I of England has seized the opportunity, imposing himself as the overlord of Scotland. But from the shadows of oppression rose a figure destined to ignite the flames of rebellion: William Wallace. Born around 1270, Wallace was not of noble blood. A commoner with a towering physique and a commanding presence, he was propelled by a fervent desire for freedom. His path to infamy began with a personal act of defiance, when he killed a young English nobleman in a skirmish, a spark that would light a fire of revolt. The brutal policies and heavy taxation imposed by Edward I fueled widespread resentment among the Scots. Wallace, witnessing the harsh treatment of his fellow countrymen and the capture of Scottish lands, felt a deep-seated call to action. His personal grievances intertwined with the national struggle, transforming his fight into a widespread rebellion for Scottish independence. Wallace's charisma and strategic acumen soon drew a band of followers. His first major engagement with the English was at the Battle of Stirling Bridge in September 1297. Here, Wallace co-commanded the Scottish forces with Andrew Moray, employing cunning and terrain to their advantage. The English troops, weighed down by their heavy armor, were forced to cross a narrow bridge over the River Forth. Wallace and his men waited, concealed by the early morning mist. As the English advanced, constricted and disorganized, Wallace struck with ferocious intensity. The Scots, numbering around 2,300 men, faced a much larger English force of about 9,000. But the strategic positioning and the element of surprise played in their favor. The battle was a decisive victory for the Scots. Wallace's forces overran the English, capturing the strategic bridge and dramatically turning the tide. It was a moment of triumph that reverberated across the Highlands and beyond. In recognition of his leadership, Wallace was appointed Guardian of Scotland. Yet, his tenure was short-lived. The English were relentless, and the Scottish nobility was fractured. His next major engagement would be his downfall, the Battle of Falkirk in July 1298. Edward I himself led a formidable English army, equipped with longbowmen and cavalry. The Scottish forces were overwhelmed. Despite their valiant efforts, the discipline and firepower of the English proved too much. The Scots were routed, and Wallace was forced to flee. Undeterred, Wallace continued his fight for Scotland's freedom, but his days were numbered. Betrayed by his own countrymen, he was captured near Glasgow in 1305 and handed over to the English. Charged with treason against a king he never swore allegiance to, Wallace faced a gruesome execution. On August 23, 1305, he was hanged, drawn, and quartered. His grisly end was meant to quash the spirit of rebellion. Instead, it immortalized him as a martyr for freedom. William Wallace's life was marked by fleeting victories and profound sacrifices. A man of the people, his legacy is not just in the battles he fought, but in the indomitable spirit of resistance he instilled, a spirit that would eventually lead to Scotland's freedom. Thank you for joining us on the History Recap. For more stories of courage and struggle, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time.